Okay, can y'all see and hear me okay? I'm having some technical difficulties. I think I might need to go out and come back in. Can y'all see and hear me okay? Seemed like it kept moving slow or something. I don't know. Let me know if y'all can see and hear me okay, and then we'll get started. Okay, y'all are saying yes. All right, cool. So look, we're not gonna be here long, you guys. I debated about doing this as an upload, but I really, I love hearing what you guys have to say. So I want to read you guys an article that just came across my desk that made me decide, let's have a conversation about this. Maybe we can talk about this a little bit. So let me read you guys this article. It says, Delaware State finalizing deal to hire DeSean Jackson as a head coach. Former Philadelphia Eagles star wide receiver DeSean Jackson and Delaware State are finalizing an agreement for him to become the program's next head coach, sources tell ESPN. Jackson did an on-campus interview in recent days, and the sides are expected to come together to complete the deal in the near future. According to a source, it has always been a dream of Jackson's to coach at a historically Black college or university. That dream could be a reality in the near future. The 38-year-old will replace Lee Hull, who was dismissed earlier this month after 2 disappointing seasons. The news was first reported by Victory Formation Media. Thank you, Deion. Thank you, my love. Jackson, who officially retired as a member of the Eagles after the 2023 season, made the Pro Bowl in 3 of his 8 seasons with the team. He became the first player in NFL history to earn Pro Bowl honors at 2 positions, kick returner and wide receiver. He played 15 years overall and had stints with the Los Angeles Rams, the Washington football team, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Baltimore, and Las Vegas. He is best known for the 6-year run with Philadelphia at the start of his pro career. And then it goes on to, just tell you more about his career. So this is what I want to say, you guys. I remember, hey, Inspire Boo. I remember when, and I'm not saying Deion Sanders is the first one. So please, y'all, please, I'm here for the history lesson. Please drop it in the chat. But I want y'all to hear what I'm saying right now. Because sometimes people get caught up in, oh, no, he wasn't the first one. The first one was so-and-so and so-and-so. I need y'all to hear me. I need y'all to hear what I'm saying right now. Deion Sanders became the head coach. He started off, Deion Sanders had his own charter school, and he was the coach of he was the head coach at his charter school. He became the head coach of Jackson State, which is an HBCU, a historical Black college or university. Overnight, Jackson State became the place to be. You see what I'm saying? Jackson State became the place to be. All the celebrities came to Jackson State games. Jackson State started selling out. Because the games started selling out, Jackson State had more money coming in. People were buying Jackson State merch. Like I said, I remember homecoming was ridiculous, right? His sons came to play there. His daughter was enrolled there. It was a whole family affair. Well, after about 2 or 3 years, and I do not have the immediate years in front of me, after about 2 or 3 seasons, rumors started swirling that Deion Sanders was interviewing for jobs at, other schools, bigger schools, Division I schools, PWIs, and PWIs are predominantly white institution, right? And there started to be all of this criticism, all of this kickback, all of this, as if Deion Sanders was supposed to stay at Jackson State forever, right? Now, some might say, well, hell, he could have at least waited till his sons graduated, yada, 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 right? I mean, there was a lot of criticism, right? The criticism back and forth, back and forth. I remember saying, and if we could find the tape, we could go back and look for it. Child, I ain't going that deep. But I remember us having the conversation, Tribe. And if you were here, go on and let me know you were here. I remember saying, Deion Sanders wasn't supposed to be the only one. he was supposed to be the first one. And again, I am not saying that Deion Sanders is the first former NFL player to go coach at an HBCU. I need y'all to hear me. What I am saying is what he brought to the program. The amount of star-studded affair, the place to be on Saturday afternoon, the boost to the visibility of HBCUs, the boost to the visibility of a homecoming, all of these different things, right? It put these football programs on another level. Again, I ain't saying he the first one. I'm saying he was the first one to do what he did. And if you have a different example, please let me know. But Deion Sanders, to me, was the first one to put it on the level that Deion Sanders put it on, as far as the level of visibility and everything else, right? So he has now gone on to Colorado State, where he has been very successful. He actually is in a bowl game. They're going to play tomorrow night, the Alamo Bowl. I believe that's the first bowl appearance for Colorado State in however many years. His son is one of the top prospects to go into the NFL draft this year. Travis Hunter, who just won the Heisman Trophy, Colorado State, right? He went to Jackson State. Deion Sanders was able to recruit him. He was the top player, I think, in the coming out of high school. He went to Jackson State. When Deion Sanders left to go to Colorado, he left and went with him to Colorado, right? So I say all that to say what I was hoping to see happen is what I am starting. I'm sorry, it's the University of Colorado, not Colorado State. Thank you for correcting me. I definitely do not want to say the wrong school. The University of Colorado, not Colorado State. Thank y'all. But what we're starting to see, it looks like it's what we wanted to see, right? So Jeff George, former, pro, NFL player, he's now the head coach of Tennessee State University, a HBCU, and he was coach of the year, right? Now we did see, hey Kenneth, hey boo, we did see Ed Reed got hired on at Bethune-Cookman. Now he got fired, but Ed Reed got fired because Ed Reed was telling the truth about what was going on down there at that school, and they ain't like it. Ed Reed went back down there and said, hey, the dorms are terrible. The facilities are trash. This is going on. That's going on. I didn't say, what I say? I said Eddie George. I didn't say Eddie George. What I say? What I say? Because you said Eddie George. I must not have said Eddie George. I mean Eddie George. If I didn't say the name right, I mean Eddie George at Tennessee State. I don't know what I said, but whatever. Oh, I said Jeff George, Lord. I mean Jeff George. Eddie George. Thank you. Eddie George. Do I think that Ed Reed, I really feel like it's one thing to say, I feel like what Ed Reed said was absolutely correct. I think Ed Reed moved a little too fast. Like, I feel like he should have got his foot in the door, and he should have really, got himself embedded in the program, and then he could have probably criticized or at least been a little tactful in his criticism. But I think that he went to that school and he saw how bad things were, and he just couldn't help himself, right? I think he just couldn't help himself. But unfortunately, he did get fired before he was able to really do anything. And then come to find out, everybody said, oh, well, he was right. Well, too late now. Y'all done fired the man now. Yeah, I said Tennessee. Now I know I said Tennessee State. But remember when Deion Sanders got to Jackson State, he had a lot of the same criticism. But again, I think what Deion Sanders was able to do that Ed Reed either wasn't willing to do or wasn't in a position to do. I believe that Deion Sanders put a lot of his own money in the beginning, and either the school recouped him or he, wrote it off on his taxes or whatever. But Deion Sanders, I believe, had more of a financial foundation to take stuff out of his pocket that Ed Reed may not have had. But I think had he reached out to, he's got Ed Reed played for the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, he's got former teammates like Ray Lewis who played in Miami, right? I think had he sort of chilled and reached out to some people, maybe he could have brought some resources in and then the school. Because here's the thing. It's a trickle down effect. Like let's call it. Let me finish with one thing and then we'll bring me back to the trickle down effect. I said tomorrow's Friday, Saturday. Child, y'all, I'm sorry. Holidays throw me all off. Kenneth, thank you. I think the comments are a little staggered because some of y'all are saying stuff that I already corrected. But the Alamo Bowl is Saturday. I'm sorry. I keep thinking today is Friday. The Alamo Bowl is Saturday. Ed Reed has always been blunt too. Yeah, and that's the thing. Is like I'm sort of going back and forth because that's who he is. Like he doesn't know how to not be that person. But I think had he sort of did the slow roll, it probably would have worked out better. But put a pin in that. Back. Hey, boo, remind me to go back to that. I want to finish my first thought before I get to that thought. But put a pin in that. So earlier this week, thank you, boo. Thank you, Kenneth. Earlier this week, we heard of Michael Vick getting the head coaching job at Norfolk State. I have a friend of mine, one of my really good friends is a major alum. Matter of fact, he just won alumni of the year for Norfolk State. He's very, very active. He goes to all of the home games and he goes to a lot of the away games. And me and him have been talking about what this could mean for the school and how it's going to, he said, I done already reached out to the athletic director and was like, look, you know you're going to have to put some stuff in place because you know it's going to get crazy. Mike Vick still has a lot of love. Right, and his wife went to Hampton. Very good. Yep. I don't mean very good like that, but yeah, his wife went to Hampton. Like, it's going to be crazy at Norfolk State next year, right? Which will be a good thing for the program, but it will be some growing pains. It will definitely be some growing pains. Now, the article I just read to you guys, we have DeSean Jackson, who again is a hero in the Pennsylvania area because of his success with the Philadelphia Eagles, has now, it looks like is going to be the next head coach of Delaware State, another HBCU. And so I'm saying all this to say, I feel like what Deion Sanders set out to do is starting to come to fruition. Now, these people have to be successful. We see where Eddie George has been successful. Like I say, he won Coach of the Year. He has been successful. He has showed that he can do this. Unfortunately, we talked about Ed Reed, and I'm going to come back around to Ed Reed. But unfortunately, we saw that Ed Reed sort of, was a bad situation. But Michael Vick seems like he's being received well. Allen Iverson actually showed up to his announcement, and we know Allen Iverson is a Virginia boy. Man, y'all know what I mean. I don't mean no disrespect by that. And then we have DeSean Jackson. So I'm loving what I'm seeing because here's the thing. So I'm going to bring it back around to Ed Reed. Here's what we know. And here's what we understand about finances. And if you don't know or you don't understand, I want you to hear me. What I don't want to hear is people saying, why does it always have to be sports? Why it got to be stereotypical? Why it have to be sports? Why black people can't support if it's not football or basketball? See, I don't want to hear that. And let me tell you why I don't want to hear that. Because it's not a black thing when we start talking about the boosters supporting the athletic department. When it's not a black thing when we want to start talking about how the money flows into these colleges. That's not a black thing. That is just a thing, right? That is just a thing. When we look at these bigger universities and we look at these bigger booster programs, that is a thing, right? I don't want us to, listen, we're not going to put ourselves on a pedestal and make it seem like, oh, so black folk can't support if it's not basketball or football. It is what it is. Right. College sports make money across the board. So with NIL, and for NIL is name, image, and likeness. With thank you, Sabria, thank you, Boo. With NIL being a thing now, where you have these athletes that are able to make money in college, we have athletes coming out of college and they're already millionaires, right? Our HBCUs have to keep up with that, as well as going back to the Ed Reed of it all. In my opinion, and this is me on the outside looking in, I don't know what conversations Ed Reed had with administration before he went public. I don't know what conversations Ed Reed may have had with the boosters before he went public. I don't know. But this is me being on the outside looking in. So I'm prefacing that. If Ed Reed had maybe reached out to his network of NFL player friends and said, look, I done came down here to Bethune-Cookman and it is a mess. And I can do a little something, but I need some help. Even if these people just lent their name to some fundraisers, right? If Ray Lewis said, look, bro, I ain't really got any money to give you, but I'll sign a helmet and you can auction it off. Hey, bro, I can't really get down there to do anything, but let me tell you what, I can send you, some pads. I have a partnership with Under Armour and I can get them to send y'all some free equipment, right? Like, had he reached out to his network, and I'm not saying he didn't, let's be clear. I'm just saying what I'm thinking. And then what you do is, because you are Ed Reed, because you can bring in these people, maybe not on the same level as what Deion Sanders did at Jackson State, but you can certainly get your Baltimore teammates. Some of them went to the University of Miami. Some of them are local heroes. Some of them might be from Florida, right? And you can get the attendance up. And then it can trickle down, right? Supposedly Ed Reed had people who were willing to donate, but when he got fired, that didn't move forward. Exactly. And I think what happened with Ed Reed was bad on both sides. And what I mean by that, thank you, Casey. And what I mean by that is, I think it was bad on the side of the school because I do think it was short-sighted. And again, this is me on the outside. I don't know what conversations were had behind closed doors. For all I know, Ed Reed might have cussed all their asses out and they was like, okay, we can't do this. I don't know. This is me on the outside looking in, right? But I also think it was short-sighted on Ed Reed's part because you have to know that it takes time. Like, these schools, a lot of our HBCUs are in bad shape. That is just a fact. They are in bad shape, right? Because whenever people think of HBCUs, they always think of the Spelmans, the Morehouse, the Howards, right? Those are the first ones that come to people's mind. And when people start donating money, generally, that's where the money goes first. And that's no shade on those schools because they're great schools that have turned out some great men and women and some great things, like, and they have a historical foothold. But a lot of times the Bethune-Cookmans of the world do get lost. My school almost closed a few years ago, right? So it's one of those things where you got to get in before you can change it. And you have to understand that this was years and years and years of neglect that has now trickled down. You know what I'm saying? The NILs make it harder for HBCUs to recruit talent sometimes. If they can find people to donate to the NILs, they could get more kids to go there, right? The distinction between JSU and Bethune is JSU was not in the drastic chapter that Bethune was in. True. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, again, my opinion is based off of being on the outside looking in. Like I said, I do not know what conversations were had with Ed Reed, but I do feel like at least give a man a year. Hey, what's up, Jerry Burton? At least give the man a year. And again, yes, he came out and he was very critical, but at the end of the day, if he wasn't lying and it's getting people to call and it's getting people to donate and it's getting people's attention, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's the downside to that? So I say all that to say, again, for me, when it happened, when Deion Sanders left Jackson State and he went to Colorado, the University of Colorado, thank you, I was not one of those people that criticized him because I felt like he shouldn't have been the only one. He should have been the one opening the door for other people, which I feel like he did. And so now we are starting to see other people come to the door, come through the door. Right. Every season was over before it even got started. Right. And who's to say he would have even been a good coach? We don't know. We do not know what kind of a coach he would have been. Right. I read where some of these HBCUs left the traditional, for lack of a better word, black leagues like the MEAC and the CIAA, and they went to some of these bigger leagues, and they're kind of struggling. And now they're talking about coming back. I think A&T was one of the schools, and I can't think of the other school, but it was another school that had left, and now they're talking about coming back. Because again, you got to kind of crawl before you can walk. So he exposed the truth before the deal was inked. Yeah. So Hampton did. Hampton did what? Hampton left and came back, or Hampton left? Acknowledgement has to go to the athletic directors that make these deals happen. Agreed. But is the door to use HBCUs as an audition for D1 PWIs? I hope not. But you know what? And I'm going to say the same thing. But I'm going to say this, Casey Johnson. That's par for the course. Every coach's ambition, and when I say every, let me say 99%. I'll say 95%. 95% of every coach's ambition is to go to the next level. If you become a head football coach at a small high school, your goal is to get to a bigger high school. If you get to a bigger high school, your goal is to now get to a college level. If you're at a small college, your goal is to get to a bigger college. Bigger college, NFL. Like, that's what a coach is. That's a trajectory for coaches. So I don't think that it's fair to say that people who go to the HBCUs shouldn't be using HBCUs as a stepping stone, because that's what coaches do. That is their goal. Any coach, and again, I'm gonna say 95%. 95% of coaches that are on a high school level, if you ask them, hey, if you have an opportunity to go coach in a college, are you going to take it? I would be willing to bet that 7 out of 10 that you ask would say yes. If you go and you ask a bunch of college coaches to say, hey, if you had the opportunity to go to the NFL, I would be willing to bet 7 out of 10 would say yes, because that's what it's about. So I don't think it's fair to say that they're using HBCUs as an audition. They use all smaller colleges are auditions. All smaller colleges are auditions for the bigger college. Hampton left, not sure if they're coming back because they are on suspension with the NCAA for the next 3 years for academic report. Ooh, well, yeah, they got a different set of problems. Everyone uses Prime as the example, but overlook what Eddie George has done for TSU. Nobody was hiring Prime, and JSU was in a slump. The relationship was mutually beneficial. Yeah. I wish they would be in more bowls besides the Holiday Bowl, exposing HBCUs in different parts of the country will put more eyes on them. Well, again, I agree. This is about to take me down another road. But what I'm going to say about that is, again, college football as a whole has always been about the have and the have-nots. It's only been recently when they've enacted this playoff system that we start seeing a different mashup of colleges, because now it's a more subjective system. When the system was just at the end of the year, the panel would get together and choose who they wanted to be in which bowl. It generally just came down to this. It was the same schools every year. The same schools every year. They still tried to get Alabama in the playoffs this year, even though Alabama was terrible this year. And because of the playoff system, they just couldn't figure out how to do it. But they were still trying to maneuver it and get Alabama in there. But because there's now a playoff system and it's a more subjective, rubric for them to follow, it's a lot harder. But to be honest, it's been a grandfathered system for a very long time. You saw the same teams every year. They might shuffle the deck a little bit, but it was the same teams every year. A stepping stone is fine. I'm just saying don't make it about community or Black uplift when you're really trying to uplift yourself. Typically, coaching in college sports and NCAA D1 requires you to enter the pipeline and work your way up. They don't usually hire from outside top tier D1 head coaching jobs. Yeah, child, they was trying to get Bama in there. I'm an Alabama fan. Jessica, we were bad this year. I'm a Bama fan. Y'all know I'm Roll Tide, but we were bad this year. We were not a good team this year. People don't show up to fill those stadiums for the Black football bowls and tournaments. I've been to a few, and there are so many empty seats. And listen, at the end of the day, money talks, and you know what walks. I went to a small PWI, and we were always fighting to keep coaches and players. There you go. So I'm gonna say this, and y'all know I'm quick to come back around to y'all and say we have to start supporting. We have to start supporting our schools, even if you didn't go to a HBCU. If you have an HBCU in your area, go to a game, go to a basketball game, go to a football game. Hell, find out what other types of teams they have. They have we see where their gymnastics teams are springing up now. I think Grambling had the first HBCU gymnastics team, I think 2 years ago, and now I think we're up to 3 or 4 HBCUs have a gymnastics team. Go to a volleyball game. Go to a golf game. I think Howard has a golf team. They're one of the first HBCUs to have a golf team. I think it's Howard. Yeah, so like even if you didn't go to a HBCU, go to a game in your area. I'm excuse me. I'm an SEC school alum, and we were mid at best, and folks were mad they didn't make it to the playoffs. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, child. TSU has an ice hockey team. Yeah. So again, at the end of the day, it's easy for us to always say racism, and don't get me wrong, racism. Listen, but when it comes to certain things, some things are just about money. It's about money. And that goes back to what else that goes back to what else I feel like Deion Sanders did. Deion Sanders filled up the coffers at Tennessee State. Now, again, was it a mutually beneficial relationship? Absolutely. But what Tennessee State walked away with, I should say, they walked away with a stadium that was full every weekend. And when it was full every weekend, guess what else was full? The concession stand was full. They were able to increase the price of tickets. What did I say, y'all? I must not have said Jackson State. Y'all must be tired. Let me hurry up and get over here. I must be tired because I keep messing up my words. I must not have said Jackson State. I meant Jackson State. What did I say? TSU? Because I'm still reading TSU has an ice hockey team. Did I say TSU? My bad. I mean Jackson. Jackson. I said Tennessee. Okay, I meant Jackson. But Jackson State was able to walk away with the vet. JSU was full before Sanders. Was it full though? Was it full, Jessica? Okay. I don't think it was full. It might not have been empty, but I don't think it was sold out every weekend. But if I'm wrong, I'll be wrong. But I don't believe it was. That's my opinion. I don't believe it was. Just like Norfolk State. Norfolk State holds their own, but it's going to be a different level next year with Michael Vick. It's going to be a different level. Do they sell good seats? Yes. And are some games sold out? Sure. But it ain't no every week. It ain't no must-see TV. It ain't no, they increasing the price of the tickets, okay? People came in for the band. Well, you know what? Okay, Jackson State does have a nice band, yeah. Prom brought more celebrities. Yep, I was there every Saturday. Okay, I believe you, boo. You say you was there. But you're right. When you talk about the band, that does add to it. So yeah, but I bet you them prices, did the prices go up? Jessica, when Deion was there, did the prices go up a little bit? Norfolk State, I bet you will be able to increase their prices. There'll be more. I bet you Norfolk State merch. If we would go to a website and find out how much Norfolk State merch has been sold in the last week, I bet you it's tripled. I bet you Norfolk State t-shirts and jerseys and all that, I bet you it's tripled in the last week. You see what I'm saying? That's money. That's money. They actually went up for the 25 season. Yep. So I just wanted to drop down here. I ain't gonna be here long, y'all. So I would do 30 minutes. It's been 32 minutes. But it was on my mind, and I thought I'd come down here and talk to y'all. And I see that y'all, I'm glad I went live because y'all were able to give me some information I did not have. Grambling alum, all home games are sold out. Heck, it's in the country, nothing else to do. Well, again, and also too, football is a lot more popular down south. Y'all remember Friday Night Lights? Football is a lot more popular down south. So Grambling, I believe it. And again, I'm not saying that these schools aren't selling tickets. That's not what I'm saying. But we're talking about a different level. And I'm sure, and again, do I think Michael Vick is going to bring the star-studded that Deion bought? But that's not Michael Vick's personality. Deion Sanders wasn't called primetime for nothing. Like, he's flashy. That's who he is. So, yeah, he's going to have Snoop coming out. And yeah, he's going to do this and he's going to do that. You know what I mean? All of that is a part of who he is as a person. But when we start talking about people showing up, people are going to show up. Right. Football is everything. Oh, yeah, Texas, child. That's a whole. And high school football is like the NFL down there. Shoot. All right, y'all. Y'all enjoy y'all evening. I was going to try to do Married to Medicine tonight, but this is what I decided I'm going to do. I decided that since there is no Bravo this week, on Sunday afternoon, I'll do Married to Medicine. And I have the 2 episodes to do. So we're going to do the last 2 episodes of Married to Medicine on Sunday afternoon. So that'll give you some Bravo on Sunday, even though we're not getting any new shows Sunday. So Bell Collective will probably be either Saturday night or Sunday. Love and Marriage Huntsville will probably still be Sunday morning. Maybe I'll do Bell Collective on Monday. Again, since we don't have any weather, you like it or not, or anything like that. Maybe we'll do that on Monday. We'll do Married to Medicine on Sunday, Bell Collective on Monday. So we can still get something, even though we're not getting any new shows. And Love and Marriage Huntsville, Sunday morning, be our regular time Sunday morning, okay? Y'all know I'm going out. I'm going to go visit some friends, so I probably won't be live tomorrow, probably not until Saturday night. So I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all have a good evening. Peace. Good night.